was good to see, man. That was like, okay. Yeah, it lit some fire on the meat. That was that morning rejuvenation, man, trying to get my rejuvenate, get ready to go to work. And I had seen that, scrolled that. I was like, man, I'm about to get my work. I was like, man, this dude IT did that on purpose. Young
Hey,
Pitts acting up. You know what I'm saying? The
young
young
Pitt,
hog. Yeah, I loved it. I was like, that's hard. That's hard, man. Oh, yeah. Real quick, we kind of glazed over Quincy Wilder. Man, that's one of them
Woo!
greats too. That's
Can
one
I
of them
raise my
greats.
hand on this one?
Yeah,
I know
man.
you. Hey, I know you know because you played against him. But Quincy Wilder, I got one autograph in my life. Growing up, I
uh,
got one autograph. I'm gonna just say that, and it was Quincy Wilder. And so I think when I was in eighth grade at the West Central District, I watched like, oh my God. Then we got to the state championships, and he did it again, and did it again, and did it again. I was in line. I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. I'm not gonna say no names, but some NBA players were getting autographs, and these little young boys were NBA. They were in the NBA. They got his autograph. I'm just saying like that. I remember three people that I was in line with. One should have been in the NBA, didn't make it. Was played in the Pac-12. The other two made it in the NBA, and I got his autograph too. Straight up, just like that. Like that dude was so special, and he was doing whatever he want. And people are like, oh, he can't shoot. Guess what? He's pulling up shooting. Oh, he can't go left. He's going left, finishing. Like anything you said he couldn't do, he was doing, and he guarded full court every single possession.
oh, it was the first time I was on the court with somebody, and athleticism was so extremely different than everybody else on the court that I was like, nah, you're different. You're not.
And
You're
he
not.
thought
You're
it
not.
different too. He could think it
Yeah,
different.
yeah. He was already one step ahead. I mean, he was on the podcast and we had conversations about certain
Trust me,
situations
I
while we were
watched.
playing, and we were watching and we are just talking about it, like the way he was seeing things back then. It
Mm-hmm.
was like he was already two steps ahead. He was two plays ahead of you as he's coming down court. He was already past you in his head. He didn't seen help side and the
Right,
rotation.
right.
Why he's coming up court? Come on, man. And he
Hey,
was just so fast. I said, why'd you try to dunk every in the beginning of every game? He said, I had to let it be known it was about a show. He
mm,
said, I would dunk on purpose sometimes. He said, I could have dunked more.
I believe it.
Man, he
He
dunked the first game of every
powerful.
game in the playoffs.
LAU first play. I remember. I'm telling you, I was watching all of this, dude. You guys were seniors in high school, and I was a little boy in the stands, but I was watching intently, bro. Waiting on my. You know how little kids like slot, they're like foaming at the mouth. I was that, bro. Like, and then when it's my turn, we're gonna. All I could think about my whole entire life, for me, honest to God, is I'm gonna win. I'm gonna still today. We go out and play and whatever. I'm like, bro, I might not score 1 point. I might not get one rebound. My team is going to win. That's all I could ever think about. I played
Hmm.
football as a middle linebacker. I didn't care about being middle linebacker. As long as we win, I'm good, bro. Because I don't want anybody to step on me and say, "Man, we blasted y'all. We beat y'all." And I will say this. I have to say it. There's two teams that in the world, in the country, that can say that, you know what, we beat you. Lincoln High School, which I hate to say, stinking Lincoln, and then CAY. And those guys beat us. And so, but beyond that, there's not another team like, oh yeah, we this, we that. No. Not football, not baseball, not basketball, not track, nothing. Not over and over and over. You might have beat us
Yeah,
once
yeah,
or twice, but you never beat us over and over and over.
yeah. The repeat. Yeah,
That
just the domination. Yeah, man.
that part.
I didn't even. Yeah, CAY. Whoa.
Hey, shout out to CAY, man. I mean, shout out to Seattle Rotary now. But CAY was something. The most dominant program I ever seen in the state of Washington.
Man, that was crazy. They came in the
Right.
People Center. I was like, they supposed to be playing the man. Are they playing the man? Who they
Man,
supposed to be playing us?
that's the men's league team up.
These dudes right
I
here.
know, bro.
Sure.
And here's the other piece. Those are really just kids from Seattle until it changed into a powerhouse. Those were just really kids from Seattle, bro. Like how we had really kids from Tacoma and Al Davies and Eastside, and then it became bigger. They were literally going to nationals. Like we weren't going to nationals, we were going to regionals. Like we'll go to
Yeah.
Yakima, we'll play in Yakima and do a little regional
Yeah.
tournament. These dudes were winning regionals and going and flying to nationals. Once they started doing that, then they'll get kids from Bellevue and Redmond and wherever else. Luke Ridenour come down from Blaine and piece them together, and that's when it really went crazy. But shout out to CAY. Alvin Snow's one of my best friends in the world, and just a good human. And we talk about it all the time. And I hate that he has a little twist that he can turn the key in a little bit on me about CAY.
Uh-huh.
They beat us way more than we beat them.
Yeah, yeah. That it was interesting because I was playing back then, but I was sitting on the bench all the way, you know what I mean, all the way up into my senior year in high school. So a lot of those teams we played against them, I wasn't getting in anyway.
I respect
But
it.
I mean, it is
Hey,
what it is.
it was greater later, wasn't it? Though when that
Yeah,
shit
I
started hitting,
mean,
you wasn't worried about that.
the payback, people don't even remember all that, man. They be
Fact.
asking me, "Hey, man, you still hold records at Mount Home?" I said, "I have 1 year varsity. What are you talking about? I have no records. I had the
Hey, keep
single
it a
game
stack though.
rebounding record. That's it."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
So
I didn't even know that until right now that you swung at JV. I thought you was on varsity your junior year.
nah, I didn't even, and I swung, but I never played varsity. I played 1 quarter
That's
my
heavy.
whole junior year of varsity.
Dang, that's heavy.
1 quarter, and that's what. But I got cut in ninth grade, cut in 10th grade.
Oh,
Like
what?
I got cut in ninth
Is it
grade,
because you
and then in
wasn't good
10th.
enough, or because some street stuff?
No, I wasn't good enough. I was still playing point, but I was in the middle of my growth spurt, and they thought I was BSing. So my
Uh,
knees were killing me, and we were doing. And I could once I got into a full sprint, I was good, but they would get to turning and running those suicides, and my knees would feel like somebody's putting needles in them joints, man. Just
oh man.
and and so I'm telling people my knees is hurting. They're like, yeah, whatever. You just slow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got cut. Then I transferred to Spanaway Lake. Went to Spanaway Lake, got cut.
What?
Transferred back to Mount Tahoma, and just like it's a wrap.
You was a
You know what I
slug.
mean?
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. And then when I got cut I got cut in 8th grade too by Drinkwine, who ended up being the JV coach at Mount Tahoma my junior year, seen me
Okay.
walking down the hallway and was like, Dante, come here. I was like, what? He was like, you going to try out started. I ain't see you in the gym. I said, I ain't trying out.
Mhm.
He was like, nah, no, I'm gonna see you at the gym. You're gonna be there after school, be at the gym. I was like, man, he was like, nah, just be there.
That's
And
what's
so
up.
I went down there, you know what I mean? And they didn't cut me, they swung and the coach told me, the varsity coach who was mauling at the time said, if you want to play, you gotta play in the post.
Figured out.
Play in
Hey,
the post. I was like, I'm a point guard. He said, no, you gotta play in the post.
I'm a point guard. I'm 6'7.5". I'm getting in my growth spurt, but
Yeah, yeah,
I'm playing the post. I'm playing
yeah.
post.
So I went to the post, man, and
Yeah.
got beat up by a bunch of football players that played, and the team was pretty solid that year. Matter of fact, they won the league that year. My
Oh, did
junior
they?
year, varsity won
Huh.
the league.
I mean, Mount
They won
Tahoma
the
has
league.
talent. There ain't no question about that.
Yeah, they won the league. My junior year, Mount Humble won the league, and the JV team that I was on, we were 20-0.
Oh,
And
that
we were
makes
beating
sense to me.
people by like 50. It was me, Jonathan, Reggie, Deshae Tate. You know
Deshae
what I'm
was the
saying?
filthiest too. Deshae was special, 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 special.
The left hand was
Um,
nasty.
with the curl though, with the curl and the
Yeah, with the
bounce though.
curl.
What?
With the curl, man, and give you the business in some checks.
Oh, and really is gangbanging. That's my shout out to Deshae. That's my people. That's my cousin's brother. And so it's wild, man. I'm telling you what the streets will do to you. It's so wild.
Yeah.
And Deshae knows he has a conversation. He talks it all the time when he went to prison and how he was hooping and this, that, and third. He likes to tell the kids to make good decisions, which is tremendous. We need that. But also
Yeah.
to be able to show them. You know what I mean? Not just me saying it, but somebody who was really, really doing it and then went to prison and is back out and now able to tell the story, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. Like we were talking about it's the stories of everybody that you got to tell your story because somebody out there can identify with it.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, we brought up Billy Brady and a lot of the names that we brought up here. That Q has a story, Billy has a story, you have a story, I have a story.
We all
And
have a story, yeah. It just depends on how
yeah,
you tell
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And how you tell it and you get it out to people and let people know, you know what I'm saying? Just because somebody might look up to this and their story might be similar and they might be
Right.
able to attach some things, put some things together, make the path a little easier. You
Come
know what I
on,
mean?
man.
I like to
Come
see
on, man.
myself as a person like I got boys and people be like, well, they yeah, are they in your shadow? And I'm like, I don't cast a shadow on none of my kids.
Come on.
I break paths. I run through walls, make paths so you can walk through them a little easier.
Yeah, no
That's how
doubt.
I get
That's
down.
what it's
And I do
about.
that for people, period. I mean, that's me.
That's
That's me, man. That's my drive in life is that I do what they say I can't do. And then when I hit the wall and I punch my way through it, you come and do better than me now.
yeah, that's it. So
Yeah.
in life, to me, that's what it should be about. And so I listen to some of these rich, super rich athletes and like, oh, I spend my money however I want. That's terrific. I'm not asking you not to. But bring somebody up behind you, bro. Lift as you climb. Like you can spend your money however you want. It's your money, it's your legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have a responsibility to help our world, bro. You may not feel that. You may not think that. What do they say? I'm not a role model. You may not think you are, but you absolutely are when these kids are looking up to you. Now, you may not want that, but you are that. You are that. So lift, and as you climb, pull somebody else up so then they can learn the ropes. Just like you said, the old brother came into older brother was 32, and when you were 22, and he told you what to do. This is how it's gonna be. It matters, man. It matters. So if you look on all my social media, lift as you climb is the last thing, bro. Like it matters to me so much. That's why I do so much for our community, because somebody did it for me. Somebody did it for me. And then Tori and Singora came back and did a free camp as professional athletes. And not that I'm a professional athlete and I ever got to that point, but I know I hold a certain amount of weight with basketball, and a lot of kids gravitate towards basketball. So I can bring them along and still tell them the ways to go about school, the ways to go about decisions, the way to go about recruiting, the ways to go about talking. So a bunch of kids asked me, hey, coach, what about this and going to this school, going to that school? And said, listen, that might not fit you. This school might fit you. Oh, man, I don't want to play in that league. Well, the Pac-12 may not fit you. The ACC may not fit you, but the Big Sky might. Right? National JUCO NAIA might, right? And so you have to have those honest conversations and be willing to spend a lot of your time helping kids that you may never ever coach or you may never ever be around. If you're not willing to do that, to me, you're being selfish. And so I do that a lot. This is who I am. It's how I operate. It's what I want to do. And beyond coaching at TCC, like there's other kids in this community that need guys like Dante that have already done it, have played pro. What was it like? And when I get over there, how will I sleep? And is my room going to be this, or is the neighborhood going to be that? Like we need to be able to tell these kids all those things so that they can build their story. So when they get it, they can know how to navigate. Bro, it's important, man.
Yes, indeed. Definitely is. It definitely is, man. Yeah, man. You got it. You got it. You got it. It's everybody has I think everybody needs to kind of like you're saying, you have the responsibility to not just reach back, but even reach to the side. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you got to push somebody in the back to make them go. You might be a little ahead of me, but now you're slipping. Why are you slipping?
That's a great way to put it.
You know what I'm saying? Why are you doubting yourself when you're already up here and you're doing good? You slacking right now. Let me go ahead and make you go a little bit. Let me apply a little pressure.
Here's the other thing is to be able to have a conversation with somebody. Let's say you talk to me and I have to take 2 steps back to go forward, to still be able to do that and tell that person, hey man, you might have to leave that to go back here to jump forward. And people aren't willing to do that, especially with our pay cuts. People don't want to take no pay cut, but and I'm not mad at that. I get it.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It might be good for you because then you can elevate your pay in the long term.
You're dropping jewels. I knew you would though.
Man, I'm just happy to be on here, bro. I'm happy you got me on here. Hey, you don't know. I mean, I live next door to Miss May. Think about that, man. Like we go back way before people can like, oh yeah, this, that. I lived right next door to Miss May, so I've been knowing for years and years and years. They don't know. Shout out to your grandma. I just saw her maybe 2 weeks ago at the National Night Out. I think it's called National Night Out. I saw her out there with the Ready Made family.
At the People Center. Yeah. I was there. She had me.
I was there
she had me working.
Setup, you know what I'm saying? I was in there with the kids. See, here's the thing. Like, I just showed up and I went in there and played with the kids, just playing basketball. You know what I mean? Like, where it all began, literally. I was in there just playing basketball with the kids.
Yeah, I went in there.
They don't know me.
They don't know that Cass grew up hooping in there, man.
Right.
I was in there and I was like, this is the run. I walked in there. I was like, y'all running? And one of the kids walked up to me and he knew me for reffing the game at Mount Tahoma. Okay. He was in the summer league like 3 years ago, but he had grew like 4 inches. So he's like, coach. And I'm looking at him like, I was like, oh man, you done grew like a foot, bro. And he's like, yeah, I'm a you know what I mean? I'm a sophomore. I just got off the AAU circuit. I'm playing with who is he playing with? He was playing with matter of fact, he was playing with which team was he on? He might have been on the same one as my nephew, matter of fact.
On Washington Supreme, what's his name?
Yeah, he was a Washington Supreme 16.
Dylan? Tall, light skin, curly hair?
Curly hair. Was he in there when you went in there?
Yeah, he was in there when I was in there.
Yeah, that's him.
He loves it. He stay at it, bro.
Oh man, he was in there smiling, man.
Yeah,
Just
they
I was
love
like,
you,
oh
bro.
yeah. I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, he loved the game.
it's
It was
tight
a
to see,
beautiful
right?
thing. Yeah, yeah, it was a beautiful thing, man. Cause I was in there helping out grandma moving stuff and bringing the food up and down.
Okay.
No one was in there for a second. And I went up and I came back down. There was like 15 kids in there.
Yeah, there was like
He came,
25 when I was in there.
so they was stacking up because at first they weren't letting them in there, and
Okay,
then they got it okay. So you probably came in right after I had left.
probably. And then, so, but I'm looking at it's just so different in there. The paint's different, the walls are different. There's no
There's no
stage.
stage.
There's no weight, and the weight room is not is a weight room. The weight room used to be somewhere else, and so just different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would like to have yeah. I would like to have some type of feng shui there, man.
Yeah, that
Get
would be
something
something.
popping.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get something popping. Do something with that. I hate that court.
Disgusting, but hey, they're still serving a lot of kids, so I'm okay with that. You know what I mean,
Oh
serving
yeah,
kids, man.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna do something in that gym. I should hold a tournament or something.
Yeah, that'd be tight,
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna hold a tournament up in there. Tell my grandma, run this past your board real quick.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Come on, Miss Willie, man. You run this past
Yeah,
your board. Let me get access.
come on,
See what we can do up in there, man.
crazy, crazy,
But
man.
yeah, but for sure. But so I seen you you also just recently was celebrating the anniversary.
Yes, sir.
How many years is that?
13 strong. It was last Monday. It was a wonderful thing. We went out to dinner and just celebrated each other and had fun and just try to make it strong. Like there's so many ups and downs in life and but in relationships especially, and so just celebrated that. It was awesome.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate
Yeah, I
that.
just on the third was 19 years
Say
married.
that, man. Congrats.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
big. Like
yeah.
you
It
know
was
the ups and
crazy.
downs and the life stuff, right? So it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted when I seen that, I was like, yeah, I want to say congratulations, man, because coming from where we came from and growing up, you know what I mean? I don't know about you, but a lot of people weren't getting married and staying with their wife like that. You know what I'm
they
saying? That wasn't happening. Like when I got
marriage
married, everybody act like I did the worst thing in the world.
No, I didn't really. I say this like I didn't really understand marriage, like because I didn't grow up around it. Like people in my
Hmm.
on the hilltop, people wasn't married like that. Like
No.
Keenan's parents were married. Keenan Joyce, Kenny Williams, Terrence Menifee. They had their both mom and dad in the house, and their parents were married. But I can't remember anybody else. I'm like for me, my age, that had both parents. I guess the Brady's did too, but I never thought about being married because it wasn't a normal thing. I just didn't see it a lot. So yeah, you're right.
Hmm.
Most dads weren't in the house in our neighborhood.
No, not at all. Not at all, man. And leaving the mamas to raise young men, and you wonder why these kids, some of them young boys is running around disrespecting each other and highly emotional, not being able to control their emotions. A
Right.
lot of that comes from the mind state of a man. You got to learn how to control some of that,
Mm-hmm.
those emotions, not get
Mm-hmm.
emotional when things hit the fan. Those are things that I learned from a father. I mean, the mother could teach that too, but to be a man, you got to be around men to learn
I agree
things.
with that. Or be
You
around
got to
amen.
be,
I think I took a lot of mine from coaches, like because
yeah.
my granddad was around until I was in ninth grade. Then he moved to Alabama. He was dying,
Hmm.
right? And so he moved back with his family, um, and then I had some uncles, but my dad wasn't around, and so like I learned
Hmm.
a lot from my coaches and my young life leaders and the men that really were giving back to the community, and that's why I say it's
Yeah.
so important to me because
Now we're
dudes did it
getting
for me.
into it.
I mean, they did it for me. They did it for
Yeah.
me. That's
Yeah.
like Bernard
Yeah.
Barnes and
Uh-huh. The OG.
Cedric Collins and David
Uh-huh.
Bonds. These dudes
Yeah.
really came back and shout out and Jimmy Quinn. Like people want to laugh at Jimmy Quinn's and whatever he does, but Jimmy Quinn's really
Uh-huh.
was giving back and trying to tell kids stay off the streets and don't be gangbangers and do. I mean, there was really, I mean, just really, really trying to help and tell us the right stuff. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, the thing that keeps coming up as we're in this conversation keeps coming up. Also, well, faith is one, but also um, keep the when I'm listening to you, I'm looking and I'm thinking about how much you mentioned that the giving back and how it's so important to you, but you also remember all those dudes and you took from the people that gave back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this responsibility to
That part.
continue that part and that sector. I think is a beautiful thing that you took that. You took the things that made you strive and keep going and help you with some of your decisions in life, and now you're giving it back to help raise and make more people.
Yeah.
What's the word? Shoot, just to help more people, just to give somebody a lending hand, and just to give somebody some good words. And I think I really commend you on that because you are passionate about it and you can see it. And when people are passionate about things, good things tend to happen. Good things tend to happen, man.
I'll
So
tell
I
you this.
commend you on that.
I appreciate that. I'm not doing it for any reason, but I know it's right. That's it. And my mom always tells me, man, you always go back to the Boys and Girls Club where people sit there and do this. The Boys and Girls Club used me for the Legacy of Hope this year, which I don't want to say they used me. They used my story, and I talked to the Boys and Girls Club about how influential it was. And so they were like, well, tell me all the places you've been and all the things you've done. I said, let me tell you this. My foundation of who I really became was inside that Boys and Girls Club, inside the People Center. It really, really was. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know the streets were the community outside of it was what I was raised in, but the safety and the safety net and the ability to hoop and build relationships and friendships and determinations and discipline and all these different things were those sports in the Boys and Girls Club, man. And like all my groomsmen played at Al Davies Boys and Girls Club, man. Think about
Mm-hmm.
that with me, all of them. Man, that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy to think about. And just I got really, really strong things, positive things to say about Al Davies Boys and Girls Club. Because if it wasn't for it, if we didn't have the Al Davies or we didn't have the People Center, it would have been way more gangsters, it'd been way more killing, it'd been way more robbing, it'd be way more people that didn't make it. That's a fact. The
Yeah, that's
structure of
facts.
that, every kid thrives in structure, and the structure of the Boys and Girls Club and People Center helped us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely did. Definitely did, man. And a lot of that things that made me, it was a big part of what made me was just that being on that court,
Come on.
inside that gym. It
Yep.
just feels different, even to this day. If I go to Al Davies and I walk in that gym, the feeling that I get is I'm home.
So I tell you this, you were gone when they put the court in. The court now you played on the tile. I played on the tile until I was in sixth grade, and then
Yeah.
JD passed away, and we ended up getting JD's court. But I played in the first game that new court ever had. I played on that first game. So like, shout out to the Hillis family. They're phenomenal for the neighborhood and doing what they did. But like that changed the thought process of, man, I'm about to really hoop. Like I don't know why that court was so special and so elite and changed my mindset. Like I'm about to be in here every day, all day, every day, all day, every day, all day. And all it was the court. It's because somebody gave back and cared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really, once they put the new court, bro, you could never find me anywhere else but on that new court.
Getting it in.
Every day, every single day. I was a ball boy. Like I said, I was the ball boy for you guys' team, but with Billy and Sean and Overguard and obviously you and whoever else. But
yeah, Mookie.
Man, who else was it?
Mookie.
Oh, Mookie, yeah, Mookie.
Mookie.
Yeah.
He used to be loud. He used to be talking. He used to talk people right out that game, man. He was
the shorts though.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Every now and then I hit Mookie up on social media just to say what's up, man. So
yeah, man,
he listens to the podcast. So what's up, Mookie?
Yeah, come on. But that part, man, just and so I was already in the gym, and when that happened, bro, I was in there playing ping pong or pool or whatever in the teen center. But after that new gym came, you couldn't find me nowhere else, bro. If Rachi ever got in trouble at school, if I ever got in a fight, they knew where to find me. If I was in the street and something happened, if I stole something and my mom was coming to get me, she knew where she could find me. That's a fact. Because I was on that court, guaranteed. And we could just spend all day at on the basketball court. You didn't have to leave it at that time. You figure out who could play. When 10 people got on the court, we figure out how we could run. That's it. It didn't matter who it was.
We was hooping. Man. I mean, even after when I got older and I was doing the semi-pro thing, I always made them part of the whole thing and them getting me to play or whatnot. I always made them either we were playing a game at Al Davies or we're holding practice. We're in that gym. We're at Al Davies. You know what I mean? I just made that the official home court before I start sliding it to Mount Tahoma. And then I started running all the games out of there. I wasn't running them, but they want me to play. I want to be at home. I got to be comfortable. You know.
I can dig that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's just, but shoot, man, we're going on a good hour and 45 here, Mike.
Oh man, you trying to kick me off, man? Hey, don't be
I ain't
kicking me
trying to
off
kick
the
you
show. Don't
off.
be doing that. Get out
I'm
of here.
trying to kick you off.
You
You a
gotta
married
unplug
man.
and
I
plug
know
back
the
in real quick.
yeah, start over. Start over. Start over. What else you want to eat? Is there anything else you want to get into, man? We can
No,
edit and all that anyway.
hey man, I just two things, man. I just appreciate the platform and you letting people express their opinion and give their ideas and all that. But I'll tell you this: when I was 9 or 10 years old, I watched somebody get stabbed directly across the street from my house. My house is 1813, straight across the street from 1813. My driveway, and then there's probably like 2 feet to the right of my driveway across the street. There's a car, and then a guy got stabbed. I don't know if he died or not. He got ripped open with a knife. Boom. And Buddy said it was just me and those two dudes. And Buddy said, if you tell anybody, I'm gonna kill you. And so my family remembers this. I ran in the house. I was in my uncle's bed, and I was just crying, but like crying and crying and crying, and I couldn't stop crying. But like, damn, if I say anything, he's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm crying like, what's wrong? Like I never cry. Like even today, like I'll cry if I'm at a funeral or whatever. Like, but like I don't just cry, right? And so that day I'm crying, and they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, man, I miss my dad. Like that was the only thing. Like I had to say it to get him off. I'm like, man, yeah, right. Your dad been gone. I mean, that was the response to some people. But for me, my aunt checked on me, my sister checked on me, my uncle, my grandma, everybody came in and checked on me. And I was like, man, I miss my dad so much. And that was my excuse. So every time I heard a siren, I couldn't make this up. I put my hand on the Bible. Every time I heard a siren until I was like 17 or 18 years old, bro, I thought that siren was coming to get me because I saw it. Now, do I know if Buddy died? I don't know that. I've never heard that he died. But I do know I watched it and I never said a word. I never snitched. I never described the other dude who stabbed him. None of that. You know what I mean? And I live with that, and I live with that, and I live with that. And I'm always thinking like, damn, did Buddy die? I mean, if I tell somebody, they might be able to find him. Like, or is that my spot to tell? What did Buddy do to the other dude? And so I live with that, and live with that, and live with that. And so that's sort of the business that I started came from Outlet Services. I went to a therapist when I was 36 years old, and just in conversation, just talking to him, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I was at the University of Montana, and we were winning, and it was good. But I had something assigned me. I need to see a therapist. I never believed in seeing no therapist in my life, but like seeing a therapist for what? I don't need that. Especially where I'm from. It's like we don't need that. You just pray about it, right? So I go to this therapist and I tell him, he's like, man, you dealt with a lot of trauma in your life, huh? I was like, yeah, man, a lot of trauma, but I think trauma is also what you make it. It is trauma, but it's how you deal with it. And so I minimized it. I minimized all that trauma because if you don't, it's gonna blow up in your head and your mind, your soul, and your body, all that stuff. And so I tell him, like, look, here's the deal. This is what happened. And he was like, why did it take you so many years to tell me this? I said, not to tell me this, but to tell somebody this. I said, because, bro, think about this. If you live your whole life thinking you're gonna die, if you tell somebody and you really believe that you're gonna die, if you tell somebody and it gets back to that guy, he will kill you. There's no ifs, ands, or no buts. It's not a game in the neighborhood I grew up in. And he said, well, how do you feel now? I said, it's freeing. And I literally sat just like this. And he, at the end of it, he and we had a long conversation that day. He goes, you know what, I appreciate you telling me that. Next time we need to dig in on where you're gonna go from here. And so for me, I was at Oregon State and they asked us, all the coaches, if you didn't coach basketball anymore, what would you do? So I wrote up a business plan, literally in my phone. I had it set. So I was at Montana and I had a business plan. My business plan was I always want to do equity, diversity, and inclusion. And so I want to be able to go to any business and be able to work alongside of them to talk about having not diversity conversation, but have equitable conversations for diverse populations. And so anyway, I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, you know what I want to do is I want to have young kids that have things in their lives that they can't talk about to be able to talk about. And so that's for me. That's why when I have all these social media deals or I have Zoom calls with all these kids, I want them to know that there's a safe place for you. It may not be me, it may not be Tay, but there's somebody that's safe for you to be able to go and tell this information to and just be free, bro. Because it was so freeing. Now I could just tell anybody, bro. Like I never, for 26, maybe 20, I don't know, I say 26, it could have been 25, 24 years of my life. I just live with that, bro. Sirens and police, and I thought they were coming after me. Think about that for all those years, bro. literally.
Yeah, man. That's crucial right there.
Crucial, bro. Crucial
That's
conversation.
crucial.
Come on,
Crucial conversations. Yeah.
come
Now
on.
see, we thought we was getting off and you just went deeper.
No, but I had to tell you that because, like, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Like, you don't know what people's struggles are, bro. Like, you can think. For me, we didn't have a lot of food. We didn't have shelter all the time. We didn't have. Uh, we for sure didn't have the best clothes. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I had it great. At least I knew if I was going when I was going home, I could go to my granddad's house. We might have got evicted out of these houses, but I could go somewhere. Some people have nothing, bro.
Yeah.
They sleep on the street. So I had it better than other people, but somebody always got it worse than you. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
but there's always an opportunity to have an outlet. You might have to find it. It might not just be right next to you, or it might be right next to you. But you got to have that. That's why I tell you to take a deep breath so you can just relax yourself. After you
Mm-hmm.
have whatever trauma you have in your life, be able to express it and tell people about it is important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, man. I mean, it's a release. Shoot. I mean, dealing with trauma is a big thing. Childhood trauma will carry into adulthood and mess up your adult
And
relationship
generation.
and generate. It'll pass down.
Facts.
It's passed down. It's passed down to generations. I think a lot of that is I've been trying to break that whole trauma and well, I call it a curse, but it's just trauma that's been passed down to generations.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, through my mother, my father, and getting to me. I just like I said, I like to conquer things.
Come on.
Uh, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm not letting it get me. You know,
I hear
it's
that.
not getting me, not Tay. You know what I'm
I'm with you on
saying?
that. I'm with you on that.
You know what I'm saying? And um, so like, man, I really hear you, man. I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you sharing that, man, because trauma can tear people apart. You know what I mean? And then, I think for me, I'll share something with you. Uh, I stopped drinking. I'm like at 490 days now sober.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
that's
Yeah.
a
So
fact.
I'm getting after it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it became a problem because I wasn't thinking about it anymore. It became
Mm-hmm.
a problem that I would just be drinking, and it wasn't because I was socializing. It wasn't because I was going out. It was because I was just drinking. I
Mm-hmm.
would be bored. You have a couple beers.
Getting it
You're
in.
just sitting there watching. Just I ain't doing nothing though. I'm just drinking
Right.
beer.
Sure.
I'm just chilling. Just boom. But I'm doing this day after day, and then I have things that happen to me, and what I start realizing is that I've been sitting here drinking all these years, just numbing myself,
Mm.
just numbing my pain. And so after I'm realizing this, I'm still drinking though. So then I was like, well, if I stop drinking, all this is gonna hit. All this gonna hit, man. And my background is, what I'm saying, when the crack epidemic hit, both mother and father gone. You know
Come
what I'm
on.
saying? I got my brothers and sisters all went into foster care. Um, the night they came to come get my brothers and sisters, I locked us in the room. The police are banging on the door. I put the dresser in front of the door. I'm sitting there on the hilltop across the street from McCarver. I ain't letting nobody in the door. I'm crying, but I ain't letting nobody in the door. I was like, no one's separating us. My mom had been on
Right.
the bench. She had been gone for days. For
Right.
days. I hadn't been going to school. I've been walking my sister to school, coming back, running back to the house, taking care of my brother, changing his diapers, trying to do whatever I can do, going to AM/PM. I'm selling candy. I'm making the burgers, sliding out between the thing, the AM/PM right there on K Street.
Yeah.
Well, it was K Street then.
AM PM
AM/PM.
at 7-Eleven. I know what time it
Yeah,
is.
right. Boom, man. I
Yeah.
said, hit them, man. The burgers used to taste like, man, they're the best burgers in the world when you
Fact.
broke, right?
There's nothing
Man,
though.
they was, man, I just put mayo and a
Hey,
little ketchup on
two
there and
for a
slide
dollar
to the
though.
house. Yeah, for $1. I can get some change, man. I was coming up, right? So I was doing that for a while. So, and then, so that night happened. We went into foster care and they drove us way out. We was way out in Graham. That was that wasn't the first foster home I had been in, but it was the first foster home I had been in with my brother and sister.
Right.
And then, that night was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And part of my childhood trauma, I've been around abuse. I've been around alcoholics. I've been around crackheads as a kid. Um, as far as sexual molestation and rape and all that, I had never been around anything
Right.
like that. The first time I was in around that, it was that night. I went in the foster home. My brother was still a baby, so he's in a different room. My sister's in the room where they say we're for girls. And then I'm in the room at the top bunk. I'm crying because they just removed us from the hilltop. My
Right.
mom is, you
Right.
know what I mean? I'm going through it. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm scared as
Right.
hell. The dude underneath the bunk, underneath me, goes and starts molesting the kid that's on the other side, on the other bunk, while I'm in the bed crying.
Your
This is
first
my
night.
first night. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And that just, after that, I was just on guard. Like, I was like, I gotta get this out of here, but I couldn't run away, which I would do um,
Right. If you're by
when
yourself.
it was by myself. I used to
Yeah.
just run
Okay.
away.
That. CPS tried to get us a couple times. Talked about CPS bringing us. There's no. I'm with you. I'm with my brother and sister. That's what it is. I'm with my sisters.
Yeah,
That's it. So I'm
yeah,
with you.
yeah. So you know what I'm saying. So I was like, boom. So that was trauma because I'm like, you know what I mean. I was on skits the whole time I was there, and you know what I mean. So,
Let me go
but
back. And people talked about calling CPS, and that we never had to go to CPS. And so, oh, I'm gonna call CPS, but it's us. We're together. I'm with you on that. I understand that. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you know how it was in them days. You know, CPS was probably making multiple trips to the hilltop, snatching the kids up,
facts,
man.
facts.
They were
And but
snatching all kind of
here's the
kids
thing.
up,
They
man.
think it's no big deal though. Oh, we're just gonna put you in a better situation. You don't know
Yeah,
what's
but
better for me. It's better for you than
yeah,
you think. Because the people. Here's the other piece. Here's the other thing. This is what I know. This is a fact. The
yeah,
people
yeah.
in
Get into
dominance,
it.
the people that are in dominance that went to MIT and Yale and Harvard, and they wrote these rules and regulations, and they had 2-parent households and nice zip codes. They wrote all these tests and scores and said, hey, this is what it should be. No, there's no broken homes. There's only homes. And this home is different than your home. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of it, like you know, what I'm saying, like I said, I ran away a lot, but I was running away because where they were putting me was not a better situation than I was already in with my
Fact.
mom removed from the house and me living around at least a community of people who knew who I was.
No
You know what
question.
I'm saying? You know, I can't go to the boys club. I can't do none of that. You got me
Right.
way out here. I don't know where
Right.
I'm at. These people's over here tripping. This dude, you know what I mean? There was abuse. I've seen abuse. Kids get molested. There was fights. There was, man, chains on the windows. You know what I'm saying? I can't even open the window. You got it barbed wire on one side and then poles on the other side. They got, I can't eat when I want to eat. There's certain times I want to eat. If I miss that time, the refrigerator got chains on it and it's locked. Like, well, how am I supposed to live like this? And you
Right.
want me to sit up here and tell me it's in a better situation on top of the already emotional situation that a child has when you remove them from the home. So you're already going through that. And then you got, it was like two worlds and they both was effed up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'd rather be in the effed up situation where I'm at least at home with my brothers and sisters, or I'm at least in the community where I know, in the confines of places where I know.
No
You know what
doubt.
I mean? So that was
100%.
the reason I ran away almost. I ran away so many. I moved 27 times before I even got to ninth grade.
Right.
So you already know, education wise, it was, you know what I mean? They used to, it was bad. You know what I mean? But I even remember, it's a whole nother thing now, talking about education wise, but it was a whole nother thing even with that. Um, different, you know, every time they move into foster home, be a different curriculum because I'd be in a different
Right.
county.
All
They're
different
not even
areas.
teaching the
Yeah.
same thing.
No
And then
doubt.
I'm not, you
Let's
know,
start
and
over.
then I'm just the new kid. And then all of a sudden I don't know that. So now I'm the stupid kid in the room. Like, no,
Right.
I learned that 2 years ago. And then when I went in the next subject, I ain't learned none of this yet. Like, all because everything's changed over. You know what I mean? So now I'm struggling in school. You know what I'm saying? So, and then
Crazy,
you
bro.
you label me stupid. So what happened is, what happens when you remove everything, you take nothing from nothing, because I was already a quiet kid. What happened to it was I became more of an introvert.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I got real quiet. I start writing to myself. I start talking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then at that time, this is how crucial conversation, I even got the name for it. I start talking to myself. I start writing in ways in the foster home. I would write like in code because I would write poetry and stories I want to get made fun of. So I
Oh,
would
you let
write
them
like
know.
upside down, backwards,
Right.
and I would write
Right.
so that if they did find it, they couldn't understand what I was doing.
Got it.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? But I would talk to myself, but it was all, I would just, in the beginning, when I was talking to myself, I would just repeat what was told to me about
Mm.
myself.
Yeah.
I
But let me
repeat
see
it.
this. It's bad though because self-fulfilling prophecy is a real thing, bro. Like you start telling
Yes.
people and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm that," but I don't know who it was. One of these famous people like Albert Einstein or something. I don't know if it was him, but he was really stupid. And his mom wouldn't tell him. Like they were telling the mom, your kid's really stupid. You should take him out. And so she took him out of school and told me he's a genius. and like, I don't know if it was him, I forget who it was, but started telling him he's a genius and started teaching him like he's a genius, and he started believing it. I'm a genius. And he ended up having genius scores because they told him self-fulfilling prophecy is this is what you are, this is who you are, this is what you're going to be. I tell my son affirmations all the time, like, bro, you got to tell yourself I'm the best. It's okay to tell yourself I'm the best. I am special, I am important. I make him say it. And it may seem awkward. So I am somebody. I am going to be great. Like, I'm great today. I'm going to be great later. Like, I make him say it. We're out there fishing. I tell him, who's the best? I'm the best. I make sure he knows that.
Yeah. And that's key. And that's key. That's key, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I was repeating stuff that people were telling me about myself and not really thinking about who I really was. You know what I mean? I'm just a child at the time, but I'm listening no, they said I might be suicidal. I'm suicidal. Damn. I'm thinking about a way to kill myself now. You know what I'm saying? But this social worker said that to me. I wasn't thinking about it till you said something.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about running away from the first hospital home till you told me, don't go out here, don't run away. Because then we're going to put you in Raymond Hall. So they put it, I'm like, I'm going to run away.
The world we live in right now, they're telling people it's okay to have pedophilia, that's a normal thing. They're telling people to take this the right way. I'm not shooting at anybody. That being trans is a normal thing. That if you're that, you're that. But like, how can we tell kids this is who you are? You can't just tell a kid this is who you are. Tell them they're great. They're going to be special. Not to you're going to be a killer. You're going to be a murderer.
Yeah.
You're going to be a pedophile. You're going to no. Let them choose. Let them live, and let the world that we how our neighborhood molded us. Let the world mold them, and then figure out who they're going to be. And I'm not. You are who you are, right? I'm not shooting at anybody. If you're pedophilia, I'm not okay with. I'm gonna just say that right now. I'm not okay with that. But the transgender population, if that's who you are, that's who you are. That's fine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We shouldn't tell our kids this is who you're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with all due respect, a person who was born a male goes to the Olympics as a female and wins the event, and they don't think there's any special advantage. Like, that's so different, the world we're living in. But you're telling kids, hey, you're this, you're that, you're this. Just like you said right now, I started to believe it, bro. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I started to believe it. But just like, I mean, even little things, like when people be talking about you're playing a sport and you're a kid and they tell you you're sorry. Like the other kids tell you sorry, the coach be saying you can't shoot, put you at the end of the bench. I used to listen to everybody. You know, when everything changed, I was about 17 years old and I just decided everybody was a liar and everybody's bullshit. And I'm not doing
that when I was young.
But it was at 17 and I just went insane with it though. I just went insane. So people was like, man, we just watch you play, man. You look like you was about to punch somebody. I was like, yeah, I will.
You what? Yeah, facts.
I will beat the block off you right now. Right now. I'm the feeling that I play basketball with, the feeling that you have right before you're about to get into a fight and your opponent's right in front of you, that feeling, that's how I play. I stayed in it. I thrive in that.